Do you feel like you lose a lot of gunfights before they even start? Maybe you get a lot of damage off on a player, yet they still manage to kill you in the end. Well, today, we are going to be going through a 4-level process that can help you win more gunfights. What is up, Pro Guides family? It's your host, Sergeant Frost, and today, we have our 4 levels of crosshair placement video for you all today. Let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. Crosshair placement is something you may have heard us talk a lot about on this channel, and let me tell you that is for a good reason. Crosshair placement is one of the few skills that separates people at the bottom of Iron from the people that are in Immortal trying to break into Radiant. We can't stop talking about this topic because it is a technique that has layers, and when mastered, it will take your aim and gunfighting ability to new heights. So, what is crosshair placement? For all of you who may be new to competitive first-person shooters, let me explain it as quickly as possible. One of the simplest ways I can explain good crosshair placement is to not have your crosshair floating around your screen as you walk around the map. Everywhere you walk, you should always be pre-aiming a corner, angle, or a known hiding spot as you traverse the map. This gives you the best chance possible to land a clean frag on someone the moment they appear on your screen. So, let's talk about level 1, keeping your crosshair at a head level. Learning to aim at head height is a must-learn skill inside of crosshair placement, and it will allow your flicks to be more precise and accurate and will net you a lot more one-tap headshots when you play. Aiming at a head level will also allow you to control recoil better, as it will give you the best and fastest opportunity to pull straight down. Good crosshair placement also ties into having good game sense, because you should be aware of what's happening on your screen and around you at all times. The best way I can describe how to practice for aiming at head level involves 2 exercises. First, go to the range and set up bots. You're going to want to make sure that they have armor on so that the simulation is as real as possible. Then, activate the bots and turn on hard mode for this aiming drill. Basically, this drill of doing the aim challenge on hard mode will force you to keep your crosshair at head height at all times. When the bots are on hard mode, they will only appear on your screen for less than a second. And if you combine this with the fact that they can appear anywhere on your screen randomly at any time, this will turn into a nice hand-eye coordination drill for you to practice your crosshair placement on. Another thing to note, when you have armor on for bots, the only way to one-shot these bots is through headshots. This will incentivize your hand to learn muscle memory to keep your crosshair at head level at all times. Trust me, I once used to be a player that would count ants on the ground with my crosshair pointed at my enemy's Jordans. Aiming at a head level, I will admit, is a hard skill to learn at first, and you have to consciously force yourself to do it in order to train the motor skills in your hand when aiming with your mouse. After you can consistently get high scores in the range, the real test begins. Now, go into a deathmatch and walk around while forcing yourself to only aim at head level. This is a great live action drill because you can see in real time if your crosshair placement skills are holding up against real opponents. I usually do a combo of the range and deathmatch for at least 30 minutes to an hour before I play ranked or before I hop into my collegiate CSL matches. Learning to aim at head level does not come easy for most people. On our website ProGuides.com, you can access courses written by pros that go over the topics we cover in much greater detail than what we can get into in this video. You can even book a session with our coaches to get even more in-depth help from a live person. Head over to ProGuides.com to start improving today. Now, let's move on to level 2, learning how to properly pre-aim angles. The next level of crosshair placement you will need to master is how to properly pre-aim angles. First off, pre-aiming is a big part of crosshair placement. The art of pre-aiming an angle can be visualized best when on defense. Imagine you're playing defense on the map Haven inside of B site. As the walls go down and the round starts, you probably want to look for an easy kill on a player in window. The best way to set yourself up for a kill in this situation is to stand still behind the B site doors and pre-place your crosshair at head level in the window. Here's another neat little tip. Don't line your crosshair up directly with the side of the window. Give yourself a little wiggle room in case the enemy wide peeks into the window. The entire time you're pre-aiming an angle, make sure you are a safe distance away from B doors and only slightly expose yourself past the edge of the B doorway. When you pre-aim an angle on defense, you should always prioritize safety first when peeking an angle. Make sure you aren't in a position where you can get yourself easily killed or get hit by the enemy utility. And lastly, you always want to be pre-aiming a common angle or area where an enemy will most likely to be swinging from. Pre-aiming in its simplest form is placing your crosshair on a general area where you can expect the enemy to appear from. Once this skill becomes second nature, you will find yourself getting way more kills that you didn't expect to come your way. Now, let's move on to level 3, learning how to pre-fire typical angles and hiding spots. The next level of crosshair placement is learning to pre-fire common angles and hiding spots to defend yourself and collect easy kills in the process. Pre-firing is a concept that many people have heard about and understand on a simple level. If you have played games like Call of Duty, Battlefield, or Rainbow Six Siege, you know that pre-firing can also function as wall banging. In those games, most surfaces are able to be shot through if you equip full metal jacket rounds on your gun. Most times in Call of Duty, Battlefield, or Rainbow Six, if you know where an enemy player will usually camp or hide, you can pre-aim a spot on the wall and fire through the surface and land a nice kill on an unsuspecting enemy. In Valorant, there aren't that many surfaces that can be easily shot through, but the same general concept of pre-firing and wallbanging applies. Let's use a quick example of an attacker rushing a site in Valorant. Imagine you're attacking Unbind and you're heading towards Showers. As soon as the round starts, you know there is a 50-50 chance that a defender will swing out from Showers and into attacker spawn. In an effort to prevent an avoidable death, you run as fast as possible towards Showers to get a view inside. And as soon as you can see inside of showers, you fire a short burst through the doorway into showers and you land a lucky headshot on a defender. In this situation, you knew that there would most likely be someone standing there as soon as the round starts. So you proactively take the initiative to beat the defender to his spot, and you pre-aim the angle and send out pre-fire shots and end up netting yourself a clean kill. This is the best example of using pre-firing to land yourself kills in areas where you know there is more than likely a 50% chance that an enemy will be standing there. The more you learn the maps, the more you will learn the typical angles players will usually hold and the cheeky areas that people will like to hide. When you are looking to approach these areas, train yourself to pre-aim your crosshair on them and be ready to pre-fire an angle the closer you walk towards it. Many times I have gotten free kills when attacking because I pre-fired and wall-banged an opponent sitting in a typical hiding spot while on defense. Before we move on, we have our question of the day. Today's question is, what type of crosshair style do you find the best to aim with? Some of the typical styles are standard, circles, dots, squares, and solid T's. Personally, I find myself switching between the standard and a dot depending on how my aiming has been recently. Let us know what type of crosshair style is your favorite in the comment section down below. Now, let's finish off with level 4, learning how to isolate your angles and controlling your exposure. The last level of crosshair placement you guys will be learning about today is isolating your angles and controlling your exposure to enemy engagements. Isolating angles is a map positioning technique that involves limiting your exposure to angles that potential enemies can shoot at you from. Applying this technique to your own games also means avoiding exposing yourself to open areas of the map as much as possible. The goal of angle isolation is to limit your engagements to 1v1s. In this game, it's very important to try to not fight multiple people at the same time. When you start to master this technique of limiting your exposure while traversing the map, you will find yourself confidently taking more one-on-one gunfights with people who will be at a disadvantage because of the way you are positioning yourself before you take the fight. Learning to isolate your angles will take constant practice as it is a skill that is developed over time. In my opinion, the best way to practice this in your own games is to actively look for cover that you can use to position yourself between you and your enemy. Learning to do this subconsciously over time will allow you to set up engagements in peak corners with the utmost confidence. The main reasons you would want to limit your exposure is to give enemies as few chances as possible to see you. The less information the enemy has on your position, the better. This will allow you to be as stealthy as possible when moving around the map, and you will be able to catch enemies by surprise. Catching an enemy with their guard down will lead to easy frags and will afford you quick map control with as few casualties as possible. Another tip I can give to you is to use utility as much as possible to manipulate the lines of sight around the map. This will give yourself the best chance possible for limiting the angles you can be exposed to and shot from. A great example of using utility to your advantage is how and where you place your smokes. Using smokes in Valorant will not only allow you to quickly and efficiently block off enemies in lines of sight, you will also be able to move in and around your smokes to isolate yourself and catch your enemies off guard as you engage them from hard to see angles. When you learn how to use your utility efficiently, you are far less likely to be swung on from an enemy unexpectedly, and there will be even fewer chances that you will get shot from angles that you can't see. One of the last tips I can give you on this subject matter is to never hold an isolated angle for too long and always reposition yourself after you land yourself a kill. After winning an engagement, it is in your best interest to move away from that angle you are holding and to reposition yourself as quick as possible. Doing this routinely after fights will do two things for you. First thing it will do is that it's going to ruin the call out that the enemy player gave to his team of your last known position. This can throw off enemy players as they will expose themselves as they hunt you down, only to find out that you reposition yourself somewhere else around the map. The second thing this will do is prevent yourself from being re-peeked by an enemy player who is nearby looking to avenge their teammate, or as you guys might know it as trade kills. Repositioning yourself quickly after landing a frag will also save you from dying to utility thrown at your last known location, such as grenades, molotovs, and ultimate abilities. Well everyone, that's all we have for our 4 levels of crosshair placement guide. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to drop a like and consider subscribing if you enjoyed the content. We upload new videos just like this one every single day, and the best way to stay notified of that is by ringing that notification bell. Don't forget to check out ProGuides.com to gain some access to some truly amazing coaching. Remember to stay safe out there, and I will see you all again very soon.